thank you for creating this space and like this resource for all of us to share and enjoy and learn from.
Thank you. That was it. I'm going to clip that and make that a commercial for the show because that's exactly my purpose. That's
Welcome to
exactly my purpose.
Reimagining Schools in an AI World. I am your host, Jerome Ellison, and today I have a special guest in ed tech, Adelina Beisen. Thank you, Adelina, for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited about today, and hi, everyone.
Happy to have you. Will be a brief convo, but I just want to give you a chance and give us a chance to share ideas, discuss different ways that we can, like you said, prior to coming on, grow students in this AI world, but also prepare them, to be able to compete and thrive in this global economy that will be based on, powered by AI. So I want to start with my first question. So if you think about the schooling system in schools, what is something that you think that you wish you have learned in schools or you think should be taught more, emphasized more in schools, and why?
I think I was lucky enough to go to school where we would have like different types of like after school activities, like development and enrichment programs where you could pretty much choose anything and you would know that you learned something and you are becoming better at something. But since we're talking about modern day life that's so fast and just crazy, I think there are some things that people have to be prepared for being school kids. Because when you simply go to college, it's just, I think it's a bit too late to like, building a personality. So I think I would personally probably add something like lifelong skills or life lessons, if that makes sense, which would include an entire ecosystem of like psychology training, finance training, probably something like cognition, soft skills, communication skills, because those are the things that you never think about when you're in school. But when you just finish it, you're just it kind of feels like you're all alone, and you obviously have family, you have friends and stuff like that, but you don't have this sense of understanding what's going on, how you're going to save up, or like what you're going to invest in, or how you're going to build your life. So to that, I think you have to have as school kids like a good foundation that would make us feel more confident and comfortable with what we're doing. So yeah, I think I would simply put it something like lifelong skill course.
I like that. I like that. I think that's always important because those are the skills that will transfer, wherever field you end up going in, you can take those lifelong skills and apply it.
Exactly.
Okay. So we're focusing on like this new world that we're living in now with artificial intelligence and AI. How do you think AI can be incorporated into schools in order to give students or kids just these lifelong skills or help improve how it's taught, or teach it more in schools that our students are better prepared when they go into careers and college in the future?
I think there's definitely several ways that it can be incorporated. There's, I think, two sides to it: realistic and not so very realistic. If we're talking about what I just suggested, I think it goes towards something that is long-term realistic, which not so likely to happen anytime soon. So I think it would be some programs that would mean some gamification tools that would be more down to earth and adapted to kids' level of cognition, but at the same time kind of prepare them to like finance or like personal finance, or I don't know, like investment psychology. How would you with people and those kinds of basic things, just through gamification, some sort of VR tools and stuff like that. I think that could be really, really fun. But if we're talking about something more realistic, I think I used to be a teacher as well. So as a teacher, yeah, I would, I think many people, many educators would enjoy having like virtual assistants that would help them out in like gradings and different operations, because I think many teachers are sinking in all of that paperwork. And I think it's a huge problem nowadays that schools are just, they don't have enough staff. And that would solve a huge, problem out there, having virtual assistants or chatbots or something like that. And the other thing I think would be like personalized learning tools for kids, because everywhere in the world, I actually wrote a post on my LinkedIn about this, that our schooling system is so outdated. If you think about cars 50 or 100 years ago, they were so different. If you think about like any communication tools, they were completely different. But if you think about the education system, it is still the same. We have the same whiteboard with tables and kids sitting there and listening to one person delivering one information, and it's not adapted to anyone individually, right? So but now people have so many other tools to learn what a teacher would deliver. So that would make no sense to have classrooms and that kind of standard education system. I understand that it would obviously mean that it would it would need a lot of changes, completely structural, foundational changes. However, there is a huge need for that, right? Adapting education system to a person. We're creating future generation of people. So if they can learn something just using their phone, then what's the point of having a classroom? So I think that's something that education system has to like take care of beforehand, and incorporating AI tools that would adapt to kids individually. I think that's something great.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of times, as you said, the educational system moves very slowly. Like even with progress, it's been moving very slowly. So it's very similar to how it was, 60, 70 years ago. But I think now with AI, I think instead of being afraid of it, I think if we're creative, like the teachers, the schools, the leaders, the districts, the states that are really creative with using these new tools in AI, it can really help individualize learning. It can make teachers' jobs a lot easier, right? With grading, with assessments, with lesson planning, with unit planning. A lot of that stuff can be, you can use those AI tools like virtual assistants, like you said, to help us be more efficient and more productive. Another thing you touched on was like gamification, right? Our kids and our students are already so into games, and AI can help, bring that gamification into the classroom to keep students more engaged, right? And then it can personalize it. It can give them some of their social emotional needs. It can give them some of their, their physical activity needs. It can give them a lot of creative things that they need to be prepared to thrive. And I think instead of being afraid of AI, if we be creative and find ways to incorporate it in some of the ways that you shared, I think it can really be beneficial for schooling and the school system.
Absolutely.
Education.
Especially when it comes to kids, like growing in that environment, it helps them to adapt and even be ahead of time rather than us being so behind and like having those fears. It's already, I think AI is a thing that develops every second, not even a day, right? So to be prepared for that, you have to be surrounded by that to have the understanding even of what it is and how it works. So I think for kids, to be in that environment is something very important.
Yeah, and it can be beneficial for all students, because I remember when I was in school, like that's when we first learned how to like use computers and like type and make Excel sheets, right? And it wasn't, I didn't learn it until college. So a lot of, my K through 12 life, I was behind the eight ball because there were some private schools or some schools with more resources who were able to get those programs, get those things in their school to be a step ahead of everyone else, right? Or their parents could afford to put them in a program that allowed them to get exposure to those areas. So then when it came time for them to get the job, their resume looked better, their skill set looked better because they had those skills, right? And if we, especially in the public school system, try to fight against these tools, then there will be some students who will get exposure to those tools and have a step ahead of everyone else. So if we want to make sure everyone has an even playing field in terms of equity, then we have to expose our students to AI and to the tools that they will be expected to use in the future that will help differentiate them from your average person, right? So I think This is a chance that we can, help balance out the playing field a little better.
I think, yeah, the whole AI world is something really exciting, and of course, there's many theories and like fears around it, but uh, I still am a little more positive, about AI rather than believing different ideas and stories. But we'll see, right? You never know. But at the same time, there's many challenges to incorporating it anyways. It's not like the whole world's going to be using AI tomorrow and it's going to take the world. It's just insane. So I think we should stay positive.
Yeah. And I know you're in the ed tech world, right? And I think you focus a lot on like online gaming in terms of chess. Are you guys starting to use some of these tools to help engage students or help, get into schools and classrooms?
So what we do is not really gaming. It's more about education. It's we try to help kids develop their cognitive skills, problem solving, strategy, different sort of skills that are all about their minds, and also communication, and emotional skills. All of that put together through chess, because it's such a, I think it's an unbelievable game that helps you grow, but it just on one board, you know what I mean? So we have gamification tools. We have an entire ecosystem where you would have, say, like once or twice a week, you would have regular theory classes with a coach online on our e-learning platform. You would learn some theory on how to build your strategy, your tactics, and etc. And you would also have practice days once a week where you would compete with like up to 1,000 people all at the same time. They would be from all over the world, from different places. And we would have those game days where kids would compete and see their statistics and everything right there on the platform. So it would be more game and more about game and engagement. And we also have qualifying tournaments. So all of it put together is like an entire ecosystem that is around our AI tool, the e-learning platform that would give us all the statistics of the kids, for instance, like in how many attempts they would try to solve a puzzle or like solve a certain task and stuff like that. And we have different courses for different levels, and a person would watch it for like 2 or 3 minutes. It's actually designed for kids, mostly their attention span. So they would watch a video, and right after they would jump into solving different puzzles and tasks. That's a part of the e-learning. So yeah, and that's what we track and see. But besides that, they also work with a coach, and they also have a community. They have like practice tools. So all of that put together gives you this all-around development tool that just is under the whole package of chess, but it gives you different, skills, because our founder is actually he's an international master, and he started off, with coaching. So when he was doing that, he realized that the best way to like raise a champion or to help a person actually develop is to analyze them as an individual. If they're lacking some traits, if they're lacking, for instance, they need to kind of expand their attention span, or they need to be a little more aggressive when playing, or that kind of stuff. Or for instance, they don't know how to lose. That's also some emotional response there, right? So all of that is regulated during the theory classes with a coach. And yeah, simply put, we kind of incorporated some human touch and some AI touch all together with the community, and created an entire ecosystem that would help kids develop.
And what's the name of your company, if you don't mind sharing?
It's called AB Chess.
AB Chess. And they can go to abchess.com. Is that the website? What's the website?
Yes, it's ab-chess.com.
I love that. I love the fact that, and that's another thing that AI can do so well, is looking at data, right? So it'll be a different way to assess our students in our classrooms, because a lot of times people don't feel like standardized tests are the way, because they're just very rigid, But these kind of assessments can really get to understand the whole child, what motivates them, how are they engaged, and even how do they deal with things social emotionally, right? And then give them the supports and meet them where they need to help move them along the way. So I think that's another way that AI can analyze data, put put things together and personalize the educational experience. You know,
I think it's next level in the whole education world specifically. If we're talking about ed tech, I think it's just so beautiful, and I'm just really excited what this whole thing is gonna bring to the world. Say even like in a year, I think a lot of stuff's gonna change. So it's really exciting.
Yeah. So last thing, I want you to, if you had one suggestion that you would give to a school or a parent or a school system around AI and ed tech, what would that suggestion be in order to help better prepare, better educate their students? What would that be and why?
Oh, that's a tough one. Unexpected.
Yeah.
So what would I suggest to parents and schools about AI? I don't know if I'm the right person to be giving suggestions to schools, but I think honestly, be open to incorporating such tools and programs in schools. I think it's an amazing thing. Everything about innovation is just beautiful, and it's something that you can't see right now, but in the long run, when you have like 80% of your students deliver the outcome that you didn't expect that would be there, you will see it for sure, right? It's just it's on so many different levels that they improve, and it will reflect on the school's results, in the family situation, say how your kids responding emotionally, how they're thinking, even where they go to school, all right, and or how they behave in school. Everything, it's just so many levels. So I think when it comes to a kid's all around development, including emotional, cognitive skills, I think schools should be open. I understand that there's many other challenges that schools have to overcome to allow themselves to like incorporate such stuff, but I think generally if there is a chance to purchase or like add something into your programs, it's a perfect thing to do it right now, because in a few years you will see the results for sure. Because that's something already tested. It's quantitative, like you can see the results right there. So I think now is time.
Yeah, I agree. And I think like anything that we have, that people will use it for good and people will use it for bad, but that shouldn't stop everyone from using it, right? If we have good intentions to help improve education and help get students more engaged and improve attendance and improve results, then we have to find the positive uses of it and use it in an effective way to help us all. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you, Adelina, for your time. I appreciate your great feedback, your great suggestions, and great ideas. And hopefully we'll stay connected. I'll reach out soon.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed it. Thanks so much.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
One of the things that I enjoy the most about teaching outside of teaching students is like talking with other teachers and having a space to be real about
Exactly.
what we're dealing with and like what our experiences have been. So thank you for creating this space and like this resource for all of us to share and enjoy and learn from.
Thank you. That was it. I'm going to clip that and make that a commercial for the show because that's exactly my purpose. That's exactly my purpose.